This is their first holiday season since the devastating Altadena Eden Canyon fire, which destroyed homes and community spaces. While the physical losses are immense, the power of community remains, and your attendance directly supports recovery, resilience, and renewal. So, be sure to join us Monday, December 15th, 7 p.m. inside the Graham Goldsmith Theater at the Wallace in Beverly Hills for Soul of the Holidays, benefiting survivors of the Altadena Eden Canyon fire. For ticket information, just log on to ticketsatthewallace.org. That's ticketsatthewallace.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580 and the Black Freedom Fund.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money P. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DePrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DePrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DePrima. The show is called First Things First. And my first thing every single day is giving praises, giving thanks, prayers, asking for blessings to the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. We got things to do. We got to stir the pot. So it's a Wealth Building Wednesday. This is how it goes every Wednesday around here. Hour one, we look local. Hour two, we start off with a wealth builder. It's a Black-owned or socially innovative, woman-owned, local small business. And we put the spotlight on them, or else we offer you resources for your entrepreneurial venture. Then we open up the phones, talk about all things national. Today, we are going to have the honor of talking to Miss Alelia Bundles. She is the granddaughter, I think, the great-granddaughter, maybe the great-granddaughter of Madam C.J. Walker, excuse me. And she is also a very accomplished scholar in her own right. She's got a new book out. Looking forward to that conversation. She's a brilliant woman, and I had an amazing time last time we talked to her. So, yeah, that's going to be great. Great. We will not let history die around here. You're always invited in every hour, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. You can call in hour one, hour two, hour three. Get in on the conversation that's already going or bring up something of interest to you. That's all good, whether you're, a member of our delegation, whether you're left, right, center, or even an op, you're invited to get on this mic. And you can also hop into the conversation in the comments section on YouTube. We stream on YouTube every day at KBLA 1580. You can see me. I'm kind of here by myself. Well, Miles is here. You can see us. But you can also get in on this very robust chat that is happening every day with parallel comments as well as some information on what's going on right here, right now. And that is what's up every day. Please feel free to tap in with me on social media at DePrima Radio, DIPRIMA, and then radio, or at KBLA 1580 during, before, or after the show. And comment, like, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. Just talk to us. that helps keep us here, helps keep us strong, and certainly I appreciate you. I have my own YouTube channel. It's Deprima Radio and DIPRIMA, and then radio. That's all my socials. And appreciate your subscription. Okay. So I'm excited to talk with one of the organizers for Black Lives Matter Grassroots Los Angeles. He's also a member of Black Lives Matter organizing in the Pasadena, Altadena area. And he is an activist who is very, very engaged, and all the way up to last night. We're going to hear about a few things going on around here. Michael Williams, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique.
I should say that you're sort of part of the crew that does our Saturday show, which is This Is Not a Drill, Saturday mornings at 8, right here. How are you? How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing, up in 6 a.m. So,
welcome to my life. Yes, exactly. Well, look, we do have a lot to talk about and a lot to unpack. I'm looking forward to getting updates on the case of Frank Tyson and, the Christopher DeAndre Mitchell case, which is really, really worrying me right now. And then, of course, tomorrow there's a celebration around the victory on Waukesha's law. So Black Lives Matter Grassroots, BLMLA, has a lot going on. Interested to hear where you are with your organizing out in Altadena as we approach the 1-year anniversary of those fires. But let's start our morning off with 12 Kinds of Crazy, shall we? Last night, a nonprofit organization did an award show where they honored a bunch of really great people and one problematic person. That problematic person being Cecily Gay, who's the executive director and board, I think now board president, if I'm not mistaken, for BLM Global Network Foundation, which is, well, I'll let you tell it. So explain to me what happened last night and why Black Lives Matter Grassroots has an issue with the honoring of BLM Global Network Foundation.
Yes. So last night, like you said, in Hollywood, in a very prestigious and upper class neighborhood, and I say that for a reason. A organization had a event where they were honoring Black folks who were doing things for our community. And amongst that list was a woman named Cecily Gay. And Cecily Gay, for folks who don't know, was a part of and this is my wording of it, was a part of the coup, was a part of the stealing of Black Lives Matter's name, identity, money, and influence, right? The Cecily Gay, Shalomia Bowers, Dejanay Parker, none of which who are organizers or grassroots organizers, none of which who were a part of BLM when BLM first started, were a part of the 12 years of struggle that BLM has been doing for families. Like you talked about Waukesha's law, you talked about all these different things. Were never a part of those things. Decided that they wanted to take Black Lives Matter. They wanted to use Black Lives Matter in order to get corporate donors, in order to make themselves richer and more profitable. And last night, this organization decided that they wanted to honor her. Someone who, at the time of the Super Bowl, was inside the Super Bowl trying to kiss up to corporate donors, to celebrities. Meanwhile, the mother of Glenn Foster Jr., a former football player, a former NFL player who was murdered by the police, his family was outside trying to bring attention to his murder. And meanwhile, while they were outside, Cecily Gay was saying that BLM no longer is in the business of talking about Black people who were murdered by the police, that they're in the business of just talking about Black joy, right? This is the spokesperson for Black Lives Matter, supposedly an organization that was built to bring attention to black people murdered by the police, right? And so when we're talking about honoring someone for doing the work of Black Lives Matter, it shouldn't be Cecily Gay, right? And if that organization was actually a part of movement here in Los Angeles, was actually a part of what's going on with changing the laws of helping black people all across the country, they would know that. They would know that that is not the real organizer. They would know that Cecily Gay was not a part of creating Waukesha's law or getting that law passed, right? They would know that Cecily Gay did not come and speak to Urshan Jenkins' family and help him and his family fight for justice after he was murdered by the police in Texas. They would know that Cecily Gay was not a part of bringing attention to Jabari Peoples' case and getting an autopsy and getting the body cam footage released and helping his family with that fight. They would know that. But because, when you run around in circles where you're not actually involved in community and you're not actually involved in what's actually going on the grassroots level, you tend to honor people who are frauds. And that's exactly what Cecily Gay is. That's exactly what Shalomia Bowers is. That's exactly what Dejanay Parker is. They are frauds. There are people running around masquerading themselves as Black Lives Matter, using our name to get donations that rightfully should go to the families of those who have been murdered. Should rightfully go to organizing around those families for justice. Should rightfully go to the black community so that they can have resources and access to resources that can help them fight legal battles or help them when SNAP benefits get cut off or help them when they need support, right? That's where that money should go to. And that's why we were outside in front protesting that event, because if you're an actual organization that actually cares about helping people and is actually doing that work and is connected to black community all across the country, right? Because BLM has a chapter, BLM Grassroots has a chapter in almost every major black city in the country, and of course we have international chapters, right? This is an organization that claims that they help in Africa. We're starting to create African chapters. So they would know, if they were tapped into what's really tapped in what's going on, they would know the real BLM, and they would know the work of BLM Grassroots compared to the Global Network Foundation.
Yeah,
that's why we were protesting.
And we've talked about this on the show, and, maybe you missed that day. If you did, then, keep it locked right here. But, the short version is that, for me, one of the big tragedies of this is, because when Patrice Culler stepped down from Black Lives Matter because she was getting so much harassment from the right-wing conservative media, then in that transition, these consultants who had never been, on boots on the ground activists, were able to step in and take control of all the money, all of the social media platforms, and, as you say, the reputation. And to me, the real tragedy is that this has given this opportunity to right-wing media and anti-black people to disparage Black Lives Matter and say Black Lives Matter is a scam, Black Lives Matter is a fraud, this, that, because they can point to what the Global Network Foundation is doing and label that Black Lives Matter, even though they're not the real Black Lives Matter. And the BLM Grassroots, with the 52 chapters, is out here doing the work while these folks are, making y'all look bad with your own money and your own platforms. It's really diabolical. So I want to find out what happened next when we come forward. I know that there was a bit of a confrontation and something that sounded really, really wild to me regarding the police. We'll look at that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I got the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates our own Keith Underwood, host of the weekend entertainment show Black in the Green Room, on his recent honor at the annual National Arts and Entertainment Journalism Awards. Keith received a first place award presented by the Los Angeles Press Club for his entertainment reporting, and we couldn't be prouder. Congratulations, Keith, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs, with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at usps.com/holidays.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's.
The Parkinson's Foundation knows that the disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them.
If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers.
We can help you understand the disease
and give you tips for living a better life.
Find your answers at parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Yeah, let's get back to me right now. Let's get back to you right now at 800-920-1580. Big good morning to all of the folks in our KBLA YouTube chat, because as usual, there's great conversation going on there. And we're talking now with Michael Williams of Black Lives Matter LA, BLM Altadena. They're under the umbrella of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, which is actually Black Lives Matter. And people may be confused, or they may pretend to be confused so they can bash the movement. But you should hopefully be getting unconfused as you listen to this conversation that we're having right now, Michael. So, and I do want to add this one thing, because I happen to have been a part of it, that, this organization was asked in advance not to honor Cecily Gay. They were asked in advance not to play in the face of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, whose birthplace is here in Los Angeles, and to honor the other well-deserving folks, but not to honor Cecily Gay. And they refused to consider that. They didn't want to have any conversation about it. They said that, that's not our problem. And so I want to say that, because it's not like y'all just rolled up without any prior negotiation or dialogue, right?
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that and bringing that up, that, yes, Melina reached out to the organization. People commented on their posts. What they chose to do was to ignore Melina, not even have a conversation or sit down to talk about it or to get any more further information, right? They just immediately ignored Melina. They blocked her. They deleted the comments that people were leaving, questioning their decision to honor Cecily Gay. So they completely tried to not only ignore us, but then hide this from the public, right? Try to make it seem like there is no issue, right? And that's what they were trying to do last night as well when we showed up. Had heavy security that came out and tried to interfere with us protesting their event or sharing information with people while they were driving up. Even though by the end of the night, because of what we were saying and the truth ring I just believe this: the truth rings true when it's heard, right? And when people hear the truth, it makes sense to them. And so by the end of the night, at least half of the security was on our side and was like, yeah, you guys are right, right? We have a job to do, but we're on your side, right? Because the truth, the people know the truth when they hear it, right? And so, heavy security, heavy presence trying to stop us from bringing attention to the fact that this organization that claims that it helps people in Africa, but platforms, Cecily Gay and GNF, which has not talked about the genocide in Congo, which has not talked about the genocide happening in Sudan, right, has not tried to bring awareness. Meanwhile, Black Lives Matter has been working with organizations on the ground in Congo, helping to give a shelter and resources to Congolese children in the Congo who are fleeing the genocide, who are fleeing enslavement in mines, right? This organization hasn't even, GNF hasn't even talked about it publicly, let alone done anything. And so, when we're talking about an organization that claims to be helping Africa, but then platforms and honors someone who does nothing for Africa, who does nothing for the Black community as a whole, who only, when they do charity events, it's for publicity, it's for a stunt. You question the validity of it, and then when they try to hide it, right? On top of that, when they try to hide the fact that they're doing this, you got to question the validity of that organization and say, why are you actually doing what you're claiming you're doing, and are you actually caring about helping people, or are you caring about your appearance and looking like you're doing something in order for people to donate to you?
So then I understand the police were called? Did that happen? Surely Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation did not call the police on Black Lives Matter Grassroots.
And look, I don't want to get, the radio station in trouble, so I won't say that it was GNF because I don't know it was GNF. I know it was the organizers of the event because that's what LAPD told us. The organizers of the event, which are all Black people, by the way, right? The organizers are Black people who live in America, who have seen what police do to Black folks, who watched over the last 2 years, right, over the last 5 years, starting from 2020, what the police have done to protesters, the brutality that they've done to the protesters. They have seen what happened to BLM protesters in 2020. They watched what happened to UCLA students at the hands of LAPD and LA sheriffs just last year during the summer and uprising for Palestine, student uprising for Palestine. They've watched what happened to protesters during the protest against ICE by LAPD, right? Not only that, they've seen all the videos that all the Black community has seen of Black people being murdered on camera by police, right? Not only in other states, but LAPD specifically. I'm sure they have seen the body cam video of Keenan Anderson being murdered, right? And so I always believe, and I say this full chest, right? Any organization that works with the police, that tells people to work with the police, that would call the police on other Black people are ops. They are ops. They're opposition to our community. Because you should understand as a Black person what calling the police means, right? You should know that if you call the police on a Black person, you are putting that Black person's life in danger. It doesn't matter how small the incident is. It doesn't matter how big the incident is. If you call the police on Black people, you are putting their lives in danger because you know the way police react to Black people because you're a Black person. There is no excuse for any Black organization or Black person, period, to call the police on another Black person unless they believe their life was threatened. And nobody's life was being threatened at that event. We were passing out flyers. We were chanting. We were holding signs peacefully, right? And you had security. So there's no reason for them to have called the police on peaceful Black protesters. And they know the implications of that. The police did threaten us while they were there, right? So they know the implications of what they did. And I think it's shameful. I think it's beyond shameful that they did that. And they need to be called out for it. And they need to apologize to us for calling the police on us, because that is not fair. That is not right. You are putting our lives in danger by calling the police, especially the LAPD, on a group of black people.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand sometimes when families do it, they think they're going to get help, mental health help, for their loved one who's having an episode or something, in a domestic violence situation where maybe they fear for their lives. I still like to believe I would not call the police in that situation. I would call for other help. But your point is well taken. If you're a black-led organization, as these folks are, who claims to be, and even if you were to take ill-gotten gains and do good with them, it's still ill-gotten gains. I mean, you still have to deal with the fact that you're doing business with thieves. I mean, but for all intents and purposes. So, are you guys okay? What ended up happening? Were there any arrests? How did things end with, or did they end with the LAPD in that situation?
The organizers called and apparently lied, saying that we were throwing things at cars, which never happened. There's video proof. There's multiple videos of what we were doing, and you will never see us throwing anything at any cars, right? If anything, we had things thrown at us. We had flyers being thrown back in our faces, right? So they claimed that we were throwing things in LAPD. So not only, and I want to just pause on that really quick, because so not only did they call the police on a group of black people, but lied that we were being aggressive. If that's not like anti-blackness in a sense, if that's not like a tactic that white people use against black people, making us out to look aggressive towards the police in order to get their way, right? If that's not Karen behavior, I don't know what is, right? But they lied on us, saying that we were being aggressive, right? And, of course, the police came aggressive, right? And they gave us a warning. Luckily, all they did was give us a warning, and we got out safe, but they did threaten us, right?
I mean, of course, all they did was give you a warning. You were on public sidewalks, right?
We were on public sidewalks.
You were on public sidewalks having a constitutionally protected protest, and clearly you were not being aggressive, or they would have moved in, because they move in anyway when you're not doing anything. So surely if you were throwing anything or anything of the kind, there would have been a much harsher response. We'll continue this conversation with Michael Williams of BLMLA and BLM Altadena when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is promising an investigation into schools that are blocking the formation of chapters of the conservative group Turning Point USA. He says they are needed now more than ever.
They've helped to restore moral clarity, restore constitutional principles.
He says any school that stands in the way should be reported to the Texas Education Association. A federal judge is keeping limits on LAPD crowd control tactics. Officers can't aim projectiles at upper bodies or groins and must warn protesters before firing 37 or 40 millimeter launchers. And DJ Quick's son, David Blake Jr., faces 40 years to life being convicted of second-degree murder and shooting from a vehicle. Prosecutors say he killed Julio Cardoza Jr. in May of 2022. Sentencing is set for February 6th, 2026. Get BIN News now, on demand, 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org. Is this the devil?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers are back in action tonight against San Antonio at Crypto.com. First game for the Lakers since their win at Philadelphia on Sunday. The Lakers are 17-6, second best record in the Western Conference behind Oklahoma City. Bob Chesney was introduced Tuesday as the new head football coach at UCLA. The 43-year-old Chesney is 20-5 in 2 seasons at James Madison, a member of the Sun Belt Conference. James Madison is 12-1 this season. They won the Sun Belt title. UCLA will have to wait a while before Chesney goes to work. James Madison is in the 12-team college football playoffs. They play a first-round game at Oregon on December 20th. Chesney agreed to a 5-year deal with UCLA worth $33.7 million. He's got a lot of work to do in Westwood. UCLA is coming off back-to-back losing seasons and hasn't won a conference title since 1998. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Malik Books on celebrating 35 years in business.
It's a celebration.
Malik Books proudly houses one of the largest African American and diverse children's books in the nation. This is the perfect time to pick up holiday reads, meaningful gifts, and to support literacy in our community. For 35 years, Malik Books has stood strong in the Black Book Revolution, uplifting stories that heal, inspire, and transform. One reader at a time. Change your thoughts, change your life. Books are the gift that keeps giving. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, congratulations to Malik Books on 35 years of culture, pride, and community.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Talking with Michael Williams, who is with Black Lives Matter Grassroots, working and organizing in both Los Angeles and Altadena. And we have been talking about what went down last night. I want to touch on some other things as well. But, you know, for me, it's clear that if the LAPD left you with just a warning, they knew that they had nothing to stand on.
Yeah, nothing to stand on. You know, they didn't see us doing anything. We weren't blocking the cars. You know, the cars that did stop were willingly stopping to talk to us and hear what was going on, right? We were not throwing flyers. Again, there's multiple videos of what we were doing that you'll never see us throw any flyers at people or anything at the cars. And so they knew they didn't have anything to hold us on. But again, an organization that is supposedly for black people or a black-led organization calling the police on a group of black people should be unexcusable. I think it should be unexcusable. They were risking our lives. They were not only and at worst, right? Like they were risking our lives for calling the LAPD.
Did anyone from GNF, from the Global Network Foundation, come and talk with you guys, or even walk by? Was there any kind of exchange between GNF and Grassroots?
Yes. We know that Dejanay Parker, who pretended to be a part of our organization, who wormed her way in our organization, who was Melina's student at a time, who then started working for Black Lives Matter, and then colluded with Shomlia Bowers, who is her high school, who she went to high school with, coincidence or not, was there at the event, and so that's how we know that they were still colluding and colliding with GNF. And she didn't say much except for "where's security," right? Because they have nothing to stand on, right? They can't have come to us and have a conversation about this because they know they're wrong, right? And they can try to, for people who don't know the situation, they can try to manipulate the situation and talk, but they don't want to have a public discourse about what happened, because they know if they have a public discourse about what happened and we get that on video, they're going to look silly and they're going to have to admit what they did, right? Because we know what they did, right? A lot of the community knows what they did, and they're trying so hard to hide what they did that they're not trying to have conversations with us. They're just trying to remove us and get us to stop talking about it. That's why they do cease and desist on Melina when she talks about them.
Yeah, of course, by Melina, you're talking about Dr. Melina Abdullah, who is the director of Black Lives Matter Grassroots and hosts a show Saturday mornings on this radio station. So no real communication. What about with the organizers? What about with the Black-led organization that put on this award show? Was there any conversation there?
I was told I had a brief, not conversation, but was getting yelled at by one of the organizers of the event. Trying to argue about what we were doing, claiming that we were, taking money away from kids. Meanwhile, they're honoring someone who is taking money away from Neani Finlayson's child, or Waukesha Wilson's child, or Ryan Twyman's children, or Garsario's Max children, right? Who is taking resources and attention away and awareness away from their parents' murder, right? And so you have no leg to stand on with me talking about we're taking money from children when you literally are platforming and honoring someone who is taking from the most vulnerable, who are taking from people who already have lost so much. You have no leg to stand on a moral ground with that.
I mean, ironically enough, and Black Lives Matter Grassroots put out a statement about this, that organization, the Global Network Foundation, is under federal investigation from the Department of Justice, and we find this started under the Biden administration, but of course, with the Trump administration now at the helm, that can turn very ugly. And currently, I know they're investigating the Global Network Foundation based on, what they've done with those funds, which were meant for the people. But I assume, and based on the statement that you all put out, I assume that, knowing the Trump administration, they can turn it towards the real Black Lives Matter or any other organization at any time.
Yes, and like really quickly, I wanted to hit on that because this is how Black movement is disrupted in America historically, right? They co-opt, they turn around, they co-opt who they can, they corrupt who they can, and then they arrest or purge out the rest, right? And that's what we're seeing in real time with the Black Lives Matter movement. with this organization, right, that they have co-opted, right, that this movement has been co-opted. They are tarnishing our name, tarnishing our reputation, making it seem like it's a fraud when there was real organizing being done before they entered the picture. And then the next thing they're doing is using this as a pretense to now go after all black organizing around police brutality and around Black Lives Matter. And so, it doesn't just stop at them taking away resources that are vitally needed. It goes as far as to disrupt black building and organizing in communities because they are sabotaging and ruining the name of Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, and that's, to me, the most tragic part. I mean, we saw how COINTELPRO, how effective it was in this country, and it feels a little bit like a rerun. So Carl Tucker is asking me in the YouTube chat, who are all the money donors to the Black Lives Matter movement? Who are the black millionaires? And I think it's funny that he's assuming that those dollars come from millionaires, because my understanding is most of that $90 million that they were able to take from the real Black Lives Matter was actually small donations. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, we were a community-run and supported organization. Most of the money that came in during 2020 and are still coming in now is from people who just are generous and kind-hearted and want to help their community. And so they donate whatever little money that they have to us, right? And so that's what makes this even harder because, I know people who have donated to Black Lives Matter because of their connection with me or because of their connection with Melina or because they saw the work that we were doing in the community and they went to donate to Black Lives Matter and they donated to GNF by mistake because they just didn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you are going to donate to Grassroots and follow BLM Grassroots, because the old BLK Lives Matter sites are now run by these consultants who are not actually activists. And you can tell. I mean, if you look at the messaging on both platforms, you can tell. One is just standard, tepid Democratic Party talking points, and the other one sounds like Black Lives Matter. I mean, it's not rocket science. You look at BLK Lives Matter and you look at BLM Grassroots, and one will easily sound like Black Lives Matter and what you thought you were looking for when you were looking for Black Lives Matter, and the other one will sound like Joe Biden's nephew is over there writing it on a typewriter in Delaware. So I think it's not really mysterious once you start paying attention.
Yeah. And just like the distinction in a small point, the distinction is, if Black Lives Matter was working with an organization to help Africa, we wouldn't be having a party in the middle of Hollywood, right? We'd be having a charity event at Leimert Park, right? Or inside of South Central or in black community, right? That's the difference. I think that
the point is taken. The point is taken. And, we see Cecily Gay. You can look on their socials. They're all on red carpets. They're at Martha's Vineyard. They're at, they're in professional makeup every single time they go out. That said, I don't know, that I would fault a Black-led organization for turning to Hollywood for support and dollars. I mean, I know the Black Lives Matter movement has gotten some support. I remember back in the day when Jay-Z was bailing people out of jail, Jay-Z and Beyonce, and when various Hollywood types, I remember Cedric the Entertainer called me to his house to moderate a massive meeting about what we were going to do about police murdering black people. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having an event in Hollywood and getting dressed up and calling on black people who do have money to donate or use their influence. But, it's just that you got to do it ethically, I think.
Yes. And the point I'm making is not necessarily that you can never have a thing, but that's only where they have a thing.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So that's the point, is that they only have things not in black neighborhoods, right? Whereas if you have BLM Grassroots, that we're going to have events and things in our community, right? Not away from our community.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
And certainly you wouldn't be calling the police on people. You would not be calling the police on people. Even if you were throwing stuff, which I know because I've been to enough Black Lives Matter protests myself, Black Lives Matter grassroots protests myself, to know you aren't throwing stuff at people going to a Hollywood event. It's organizing, throwing facts, throwing knowledge, and making these folks feel embarrassed. Yes. But actually throwing stuff, no, I seriously doubt that. Molly Bell says when you do the work, everybody wants to take credit for it for whatever reason. Dr. Melina Abdullah and others said Black Lives Matter. Yes, we do. Love that chant. She says they would steal Dominique's name if they could. Yeah.
100%.
Except my name don't come with no
100%.
check. But yeah. Well, you're welcome to weigh in at 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. Michael Williams is my guest. I think it sounds like a nightmare, but at the same time, I'm glad, they were called to account. I don't think you can just play in people's faces. You can't just come to my house and, and tell your lies. I know they're not even based here, but to show up in LA and think you just gonna play in our faces, I don't think so. 800-920-1580. That's the number if you want to weigh in. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at WalkGoodLA. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
In a city as big as LA, healthcare shouldn't feel far away. That's why Cedars-Sinai is breaking down barriers and bringing resources like free screenings, vaccinations, and wellness programs into local communities. From Leimert Park to Lincoln Heights and everywhere in between, Cedars-Sinai is showing up, partnering with over 200 local organizations to improve access to healthcare resources. Because care doesn't just happen inside a hospital. It happens in neighborhoods and places around the city where we live, work, and grow. Cedars-Sinai, here for LA.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant addiction. They can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. This holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the company of family and friends and create special moments. Find a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play stopped, opt out.
Hey man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the Current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
All you have to do is download the app, see if you qualify. $750. Boom.
You think I should call her back?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
All right.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Get ahead with Current. Text ACTION to 323232 to sign up today. That's ACTION to 323232. ACTION to 323232. ACTION to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
My. I don't know when I'm going to learn, Michael Williams. Time flies when you're on the radio. I had a long list of questions for you that we will not get to. But this is important conversation anyways. And I do want to, remind people to pay attention. As we pointed out, it's important to know the difference between Black Lives Matter Grassroots, which is Black Lives Matter, and the Global Network Foundation, which was created to be part of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, created to hold that money and help fund all of the chapters and all of the work that was happening on the ground, but had been usurped by consultants who now control that. They are under federal investigation. We do know that. That, as your statement says, is not something you take joy in, but nevertheless, it certainly may bring out, we could see some revelations. Some of it is already visible on the publicly available 990 filings, right, where they say what they're doing with the money that their nonprofit organization has. Yes.
And I think, and to that point, I think that the way to know the difference is to just check the work, right? If anybody is incredulous or thinking this is just basic infighting or this doesn't matter, check the work, right? Who's in your communities? Who do you see advocating for Black people when it comes to police brutality? Who do you see holding politicians accountable when it comes to funding our community? Who's doing things like the People's Budget LA and People's Budget all across the nation? Who was the ones advocating for Stop Cop City, right? Who were the people that were standing right next to you when police were hitting you with tear gas and shooting rubber bullets here in LA when we were doing the ICE protests, or when we were doing the 2020 protests, or when we were doing the pro-Palestinian protests, right? You know who is actually doing the work, and it's not Cecily Gay, it's not Dejanay Parker, it's not Salomia Bowers, it's not anyone from GNF. It's the folks who are doing the beautiful and marvelous work of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, and who are actually standing up and holding people accountable to protect the Black community from state-sanctioned violence, which is what BLM was created to do.
Yeah, and if you want to donate to that, you go to BLM Grassroots, not the old BLK. Lives Matter. How are you doing? I know that you didn't have your home burned down, but you were impacted by the fire, and certainly you've been doing work on the ground there in Altadena. How do you see where we are right now?
I can only be honest and say that, as resilient as this community is, and it's beautifully resilient, we need help. A lot of the resources and things that people promise, the government and others promise, are not coming to this community. A lot of people are struggling to maintain the community and the homes that they have in the wake of what is happening. And so if people can plug in to the work that we're doing, there are so many organizations. This station has a great show, Altadena Rising with James Farr, that you can get plugged into and know what we're doing on the ground here in Altadena. But yeah, we need help.
Yeah. It's sad to hear that some of the resources, especially government resources, but others too, that were promised are not coming through. I feel like that's a rerun of what we saw with the 2020 Black Lives Matter, where all these corporations pledged big bucks and they got the free promotion from it, and then they never wrote the checks. Yes.
And that's the thing. It's like we want to keep, this community what it is. And the only way that we can do that is through collective organizing and supporting this community, and supporting those who are trying to fight to stay here. And so, not having that support and not having those resources that were promised is a tough thing,
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. Well, thankful that folks like you are still doing the work and not giving up, regardless of how It sounds like it would be very overwhelming. Be promised help, help doesn't come, being gaslit by Southern California Edison and others, and it just feels, I don't know, including who knows what's going on with the supervisor for that area, Catherine Barger. But I'm grateful that you are one of those folks who simply doesn't give up.
And I appreciate you giving me this platform to speak about this.
Yeah. Well, my mic is your mic, Michael. We'll spend a little bit of time on some good news. Tomorrow there will be sort of a signing ceremony. It's something the governor typically does. I guess he did not do it for Waukesha's law, although he did sign it into law, which is great news. A big victory for Black Lives Matter Grassroots, for Sheila and Lisa Hines, the mama and auntie of Waukesha Wilson, who was killed in police custody at the LAPD Metropolitan Jail. So in LAPD custody. And now there's a statewide law that affects every prison, jail, or lockup that would require the notification of families if their loved ones are hospitalized with a serious condition or unalived. It seems like something that should be a no-brainer, but it's not. I've interviewed tons of families that never got notified. They're still waiting to be notified, and their loved one is long since buried and gone. So talk to me about this victory.
Yeah, and just really want to just commend and really express how resilient the Hines sisters were. Lisa Hines, who is the mother of Waukesha Wilson, and Sheila Hines, who is the aunt. The level of resilience, because we fought long and hard to get this law passed in California, and it was not an easy fight, but they kept pushing. They would not take no for an answer. Even when politicians said, well, it's not going to go past or it's not going to get through, they kept pushing. And shout out to Black Lives Matter Grassroots, our policy team, with Sheila Bates, who is such a vital part of what we do in Black Lives Matter Grassroots and Black Lives Matter LA, for continuing to do the work and going up to Sacramento constantly to make sure that bill gets passed. I know so many families that this is going to be vital to, and it's going to be an important step to making sure that we hold the police accountable when we have these in-custody deaths, because when we have more quicker knowledge, there can be more steps. We can quicker react to what's happening and maybe find out what happened to some of these folks who are being unalived in our jails.
Well, Michael Williams, I appreciate your joining me this morning. And again, thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and I'm glad to be here.
If you want to follow the work, follow BLM Los Angeles or BLM Grassroots on all platforms. Those are the real Black Lives Matter folks, the real folks doing the work. We've got Wealth Building Wednesday next. The phone lines will be open after that in hour 2 of this show. Well, they're open always, but they'll be open for freestyle phones. We're going to talk about some of the things going on the national and international stage. All that is straight ahead on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is promising an investigation into schools that are blocking the formation of chapters of the conservative group Turning Point USA. He says they are needed now more than ever.
They've helped to restore moral clarity, restore